Most people alive today have never heard these old tricks, and that's a shame, because every one of them still works. These are the small, cheap habits Grandma used for decades, long before anyone paid a late fee or a full price tag, without ever asking for a discount first. Track every bill on one index card calendar. A late fee is one of the easiest ways to lose money without getting anything back for it. Write every bill's due date directly onto a large monthly calendar or index card system kept in a visible spot. Seeing every due date in one glance prevents the common mistake of forgetting a bill buried in a stack of mail or an inbox. Cross each one off as it's paid, and a full month of bills becomes something you can track at a glance instead of something that sneaks up on you. Call every provider once a year to ask for the loyalty discount. Most people assume their phone, internet, or insurance rate is fixed once they sign up. Call once a year and simply ask if there's a loyalty rate. Companies would rather quietly lower your bill than lose you as a customer entirely, so this single phone call, which takes about 10 minutes, regularly saves real money every single year. Keep a note of which month you called each company so the yearly check becomes a habit rather than something you forget to repeat. Switch to a prepaid cell plan instead of a landline and cell combo. Paying for both a landline and a cell phone is one of the most common overlooked expenses for anyone living alone. Compare a simple prepaid cell plan built around your actual monthly usage against what you're currently paying for both lines combined. Prepaid plans skip the contract fees and hidden charges bundled into traditional plans, often cutting the monthly bill by half or more. Keep the landline only if it's tied to a medical alert system that specifically requires it. Buy day-old bread at the bakery outlet. Did you know that you can get the exact same bread for a fraction of the price just by buying it one day later? Bakery outlet stores sell bread. The bread itself hasn't spoiled. It simply passed the store's very short freshness window for shelf display. Freeze what you won't use within a few days, and a single trip can cover 2 or 3 weeks of bread for a fraction of the grocery store price. Join Senior Discount Day at the grocery store. Most grocery stores quietly offer a specific day of the week with an extra discount for older shoppers. Ask the customer service desk directly which day your store offers this and what percentage it covers. Plan your bigger shopping trips around that specific day whenever possible, since the discount often applies to your entire order rather than just a few select items. Combining this day with a store's regular weekly sale stacks the savings even further. Make your own laundry detergent from bar soap and washing soda. Store-bought laundry detergent costs far more than the raw ingredients required to make it yourself. Grate a bar of plain soap finely. Use about 2 tablespoons of the mixture per load, adjusting slightly for heavily soiled laundry. A batch made this way costs a small fraction of a name. Brand jug and lasts for months, since laundry soap doesn't spoil the way food does. Line dry clothes instead of running the dryer. A clothes dryer is one of the most electricity-hungry appliances running in most homes on any given day. Hang laundry on an indoor rack near a sunny window in winter. Air drying uses no electricity at all and is gentler on fabric, extending the life of clothes that would otherwise wear thin from repeated dryer heat. Grandma kept a line strung across her back porch for exactly this reason, rain or shine, using the dryer only on the very wettest days of the year. Repair socks with a darning egg instead of buying new ones. A hole in the heel of a sock doesn't have to mean the end of that pair. Slip a darning egg. Weave a needle and thread back and forth across the gap, building a small woven patch directly over the worn spot. A few minutes of darning extends a sock's life by months, and it's the exact skill Grandma taught an entire generation before store-bought socks became cheap enough to simply toss out. Cook one big pot on Sunday and portion it for the week. Cooking a full meal from scratch every single night adds up in both time and grocery cost. Choose one large. Divide it into individual portions using containers you already own, then freeze or refrigerate what won't be eaten within a couple of days. This one habit cuts down on both wasted food and the temptation to order takeout on a tired evening. Ask the pharmacist for the generic automatically. Did you know that you can save a significant amount on nearly every prescription just by asking one simple question at the counter? Generic medications contain the exact same active ingredient as the brand name version. Ask your pharmacist directly whether a generic version exists for each prescription you're filling. since it isn't always offered automatically. This single question, repeated at every refill, adds up to real savings over the course of a year without changing a single thing about your actual treatment. Ask your doctor about splitting higher dose pills. Some medications cost nearly the same regardless of the dosage strength. Ask your doctor or pharmacist whether your specific medication is safe to split. If it's approved, a doctor can prescribe a higher dose pill along with a pill splitter, cutting each tablet into 2 doses instead of paying for 2 separate lower dose prescriptions. Never split a pill on your own without this confirmation first, since some medications lose their effectiveness or become unsafe once divided. Use a simple timer instead of a fancy smart thermostat. You don't need an expensive smart thermostat to stop paying to heat or cool an empty house. A basic mechanical or digital timer. This small adjustment, often just a few degrees for a few hours, adds up to a noticeably lower bill over an entire season without ever feeling uncomfortable in the moment. Grandma kept hers set winter and summer alike, adjusting only twice a year when the seasons changed. Sealed drafty windows with plastic sheeting each winter. An old window can leak more heat than most people realize. Apply a thin sheet of clear plastic film. This creates a pocket of trapped air that acts as an extra layer of insulation against the cold glass behind it. A single kit costs only a few dollars per window and can cut a noticeable amount off a winter heating bill. Grow a small container garden on the porch. You don't need a full yard to grow a meaningful amount of your own food. A few large containers or grow bags on a sunny porch or balcony can produce a steady supply of tomatoes. Even a small harvest offsets a real portion of a weekly grocery bill, especially for items like fresh herbs that cost several dollars for just a small package at the store. Save seeds from the strongest plants at the end of the season to replant for free the following year. Can extra garden vegetables for the winter. A garden that produces more than you can eat right away doesn't have to go to waste. Learn basic water bath canning for high-acid foods like tomatoes. A single afternoon of canning can preserve months of vegetables that would otherwise spoil on the counter within a week. Grandma's pantry shelf was lined with jars every single fall, each one a meal. She didn't have to buy come January. Barter skills with a neighbor instead of hiring help. Not every task around the house needs to be paid for in cash. Offer a skill you're good at. This kind of informal trade was common for generations before every task came with a price tag attached to it. A simple conversation over the fence is often all it takes to set up an arrangement that saves both of you real money. Use the library's free programs instead of paying for streaming. Did you know that you can access thousands of movies, audiobooks? Most public libraries now offer free digital lending apps that work directly on a phone. Ask the front desk which digital services your specific library card unlocks, since the selection varies by location. Canceling even one paid subscription in favor of this free alternative can save a meaningful amount every single month. Cut the cable cord and use an antenna for local channels. A cable bill often costs more each month than the actual channels you watch regularly are worth. A simple digital antenna. Test a basic antenna near a window first before assuming you need an outdoor or attic-mounted version. For anyone who mostly watches local news and a handful of familiar shows, this one switch alone can eliminate an entire monthly bill. Refill printer ink cartridges instead of buying new ones. Brand name printer ink is one of the most overpriced items sold at any office supply store. Many pharmacies and office stores offer a refill service for a fraction of the cost of a brand new cartridge. Alternatively, small refill kits sold online let you top off a cartridge at home with a simple syringe. Either option stretches a single cartridge across several refills instead of paying full price every time it runs dry. Make your own cleaning spray from vinegar and water. Most people assume a specialty cleaner is required for every surface in the house. Combine equal parts white vinegar and water in a spray bottle for an all-purpose cleaner that tackles counters. A single gallon of vinegar costs only a few dollars and replaces what would otherwise be several separate bottles of specialty cleaner. Grandma kept exactly one bottle mixed and labeled under her sink instead of a whole cabinet full of different sprays. And that's really just one trick out of 141. I put the whole collection together in a little guide called Grandma's White Vinegar Bible. If you want them all in one place, links below. Okay, next up. Reuse glass jars instead of buying storage containers. A drawer full of mismatched plastic storage containers usually started as something else entirely. Wash and save glass jars from pasta sauce. They work just as well as anything sold specifically for food storage, and they're already free the moment the original contents are used up. Keep a small shelf dedicated to clean jars in various sizes, and you'll rarely need to buy a storage container again. Shop the clearance rack at the end of the season. Retailers mark down an entire season stock the moment the calendar turns. Shop for next year's winter coat in late winter. The clothing itself hasn't changed at all, only the calendar has, and the discount can run as steep as half off or more. This takes a bit of planning ahead, but it consistently beats paying full price when the season actually arrives. Buy meat in bulk and freeze it in meal-sized portions. Meat purchased in a large family pack costs noticeably less per pound than the same cuts bought individually. Repackage the bulk portion into meal-sized amounts the same day you bring it home. This prevents the common problem of a large pack going bad before it's fully used, since each portion stays properly sealed until you're ready to cook it. A single bulk trip can stock a freezer with weeks of meals at a noticeably lower cost per meal. Use coupons only on items already on your list. A coupon for something you weren't already planning to buy isn't actually a discount. Before clipping or clicking a single coupon, only then check whether any coupons apply to items already on that list. This simple order of operations keeps coupons working in your favor instead of tempting you into extra purchases you didn't need in the first place. Ask for a senior rate on every utility bill. Most utility companies, including electric, water, and even trash collection. Call each provider directly and ask specifically whether a senior discount or a reduced fixed income rate applies to your account. Some programs require a simple application with proof of age or income. So ask what paperwork is needed while you have someone on the phone. This is a call worth making for every single utility you pay, not just the ones you assume might qualify. Get a free home energy audit from the utility company. Did you know that many utility companies will send someone to your home for free just to find where you're wasting energy? A home energy audit checks for drafts. Many of these audits also come with free items included on the spot, like weather stripping or LED bulbs installed during the same visit. Call your provider directly to ask whether this service is offered in your area, since it's often included at no extra charge for exactly the customers who need it most. Switch incandescent bulbs to LED one room at a time. Replacing every bulb in the house at once can feel like an expense you'd rather avoid. Swap out just the bulbs in the rooms used most. An ALED bulb uses a fraction of the electricity of an old incandescent one and lasts years longer, so the investment pays for itself well before it needs replacing again. Doing this gradually, room by room, spreads the cost out without ever feeling like a big expense all at once. Wash dishes by hand for small loads instead of running the dishwasher. Running a dishwasher for just a few dishes uses far more water and electricity than the load actually requires. Save the dishwasher for genuinely full loads and wash smaller amounts by hand in a basin using a small amount of hot water rather than running the tap continuously. This single habit noticeably reduces both the water bill and the electric bill over the course of a month, especially for anyone living alone who naturally generates fewer dishes per day than a full household would. Make your own bread instead of buying it. A loaf of bread from scratch costs a fraction of what the same size loaf costs at the store, using little more than flour, water, yeast, and salt. Mix, knead, and let the dough rise according to a simple basic recipe, then bake it in a regular oven without any special equipment required. A single batch produces a loaf that tastes noticeably better than most store-bought bread, and the ingredients for several loaves cost about the same as buying just one from the store. Repurpose old t-shirts into cleaning rags. A worn-out t-shirt headed for the trash still has plenty of use left in it. Cut it into several squares to use as reusable cleaning rags instead of buying paper towels or disposable wipes. Soft cotton fabric works especially well on glass and mirrors, leaving less streaking behind than paper ever does. Toss the rags in with a regular load of laundry once they're dirty. And the same stack can be reused for years instead of buying a fresh roll of paper towels every few weeks. Trade books at a little free library instead of buying new. A love of reading doesn't have to come with a growing bill from the bookstore. Little free libraries. Drop off books you've already finished and pick up something new to read in return, refreshing your whole shelf without spending a dime. Many public libraries also run ongoing used book sales for a similar deal. usually just a few coins per paperback. Attend free community classes at the senior center. Most local senior centers offer free or nearly free classes covering everything from exercise to arts and crafts to computer basics. Call your nearest center directly and ask for a full schedule. These classes often include free supplies, light refreshments, and social time that would otherwise cost money elsewhere, all rolled into one visit. It's one of the most overlooked resources available, specifically for anyone on a fixed income looking to stay active and social without spending anything. Buy generic store brand instead of name brand. Most store brand products are made in the exact same factories as the name brand sitting right beside them on the shelf. Compare the ingredient list on a generic can. Switching even a handful of pantry staples to store brand versions adds up to a noticeable difference across a full month of grocery trips. Grandma always said the label costs more than what's actually inside it, and a side-by-side ingredient check usually proves her right. Set up automatic bill pay to avoid late fees. A single missed due date can cost more in late fees than an entire month of careful budgeting saves. Set up automatic payments for fixed bills that don't change month to month. Keep a small buffer in the account this draws from to avoid an overdraft fee canceling out the benefit entirely. This one setup, done once, quietly protects your budget every single month afterward without any further effort. Freeze leftover herbs in oil before they spoil. A bunch of fresh herbs bought for one recipe often goes limp and unusable long before it's fully used. Chop the leftover herbs finely and pack them into an ice cube tray. Pop out a cube directly into a pan whenever a recipe calls for that herb, with no waste and no need to buy a fresh bunch again so soon. This trick alone can stretch a single bunch of herbs across several meals instead of one. Use a slow cooker to save on electricity during meal prep. Running a full oven for hours costs far more in electricity than most people account for. A slow cooker uses a small fraction of that energy to cook a meal over the same stretch of time. Start it in the morning and come back to a finished meal by evening without the oven heating up the whole kitchen in the process. It's a trick that saves on both the electric bill and the grocery bill at the same time, since cheaper cuts of meat become tender with this method. Mend a torn seam instead of replacing the garment. A small tear along a seam is one of the easiest repairs to overlook until the garment feels too far gone to bother with. Thread a needle with a color close to the original stitching. A few minutes of mending extends the life of a garment by months or years, often for less effort than a trip to the store to replace it. Keep a small sewing kit in a kitchen drawer specifically for catching these small tears the moment they happen before they have a chance to grow larger. Compost kitchen scraps for free fertilizer, vegetable peels, coffee grounds. Collect scraps in a small container by the sink. Finished compost feeds a garden bed for free, replacing a bag of store-bought fertilizer that would otherwise cost several dollars each season. This closes the loop between the kitchen and the garden in a way that costs nothing beyond the scraps you were already throwing away. Share a bulk grocery order with a neighbor. Did you know that you can access bulk pricing even when you don't need bulk quantities? Team up with a neighbor or friend to buy a large bulk item. This gives both of you access to the lower per-unit price of buying in bulk without either of you needing to store or use the full quantity alone. It also turns a simple shopping trip into a regular visit with someone, which costs nothing extra at all. Keep a price book to track the best deals. The same grocery item can vary in price significantly from one store to another. Keep a small notebook recording the regular price of items you buy often. Over a few months, this price book reveals exactly where to shop for specific items, instead of assuming one store is always cheapest for everything. Grandma's version of this was a worn spiral notebook kept in her purse, updated every single time she noticed a price had changed. Turn down the water heater thermostat to 120 degrees. Most water heaters are set several degrees hotter than any household actually needs for daily use. Locate the thermostat dial on the water heater itself. This small adjustment reduces the energy needed to keep a full tank of water hot around the clock without any noticeable difference in your shower or dishwater temperature. It's also a safer setting overall, reducing the risk of scalding for anyone with sensitive skin. Ask your doctor about a 90-day prescription supply. Filling a prescription every single month often comes with a small dispensing fee attached each time. Ask your doctor and pharmacy whether your regular medications are eligible for a 90-day supply instead of the standard monthly refill. Many insurance plans, including several fixed income assistance programs, charge the same or a reduced copay for a 90-day supply compared to 3 separate monthly fills. This single change cuts down on both the dispensing fees and the number of trips required to pick up medication throughout the year. Build a cash envelope system for monthly spending. Every secret on this list works best alongside one simple system that ties them all together. Withdraw your monthly spending money in cash and divide it into labeled envelopes for each category. Once an envelope is empty for the month, spending in that category stops completely until the next cycle begins, which makes overspending nearly impossible to do by accident. Grandma ran her entire household this way for decades, long before anyone had a banking app to track it for them, and it worked because it made every single dollar visible the moment it left her hand. Which of these will you be trying out next? Let me know in the comments section down below.